So guys, I'm just going to go through some techniques you can use using a door anchor. I've got one attached to the top here. Always important to go around the door, pull it in, so if you can close the door away from it, like pulling it close towards you, is always going to be a better option because it's pulling it into the frame. But if you have it the other way like this, it's still fine. Just go around the corner and you just go to where the hinges are. That way it's much stronger. If you go on the corner here somewhere, you can break the hotel door, which will make your trip more expensive. So I've got it here anchored to the top. Obviously all your warm-up stuff, that's pretty straightforward. Just doing it the same there. Just like an anchor point like that. When you get into your hangs, it just depends on you what you prefer. So if you want to use the rings for the hangs, you just want to have a decent amount of traction. So you can come in a bit closer than this. These are a bit long, but just stretching back and sinking down, sticking that butt out, hinging forward. I mean, I'm pretty happy with just handrails when I'm traveling for just a traction hang. You can shorten it, getting closer like that, and you'll get a decent amount from it. Just a bit higher. Using the two rings, you can do the shrugs, do the one-arm shrugs, all of that stuff. That works pretty well. Then when you're going into a hollow arch, that works a lot nicer. You can have it at a length where you can get that kind of horizontal pull. It's not as much weight as you would have if you were loading up with the straps vertical. But here you can still get a decent amount of load in there and get that nice hollow arch action. When you're going into the gymnastic strength style training, obviously you don't have a vertical line of pull, so you're not going to be able to get the same loading that you would for the straight dead hang pull with all the weight bearing straight down. So you can, with these, with the bands anchored high, if you're doing a dynamic kind of front lever deal. So this would be in the dead hang, and then I'm pulling myself up into that inverted front lever. So instead of my body moving, my arms are moving. So it's nowhere near as heavy, and it's heavier as the band pulls tighter. So the strength curve is different, but it's still a dynamic front lever pull. Then if you're going to do back lever, you do the same thing, where you're here and you're getting that dynamic pull, pulling through. So as I'm in that back lever stretch there, and I can pull myself through, and that works quite well. You can even kind of squat down, so that way you get more range and more of a German hang style stretch. For the isometric versions of those two, definitely the rings will work quite well for your front lever. Just getting that scalp retraction and pull there, so turning that on, giving those lower traps. So it's good, you know, it's not going to be as heavy, but as you walk further towards the corner or to the anchor point, then that's going to pull tighter, work you harder. So that's pretty decent. It's not overly heavy, but it's still loading in. Same for the back lever. You can get that position, walking back to the anchor point, and then straightening that out. Again, making sure that that anchor is secured to the hinge in the corner, because that's a pretty strong the amount of weight that's going through there. For when you're going into the meat hook, it's not ideal, but you want to, you know, when you're traveling, it's more just about trying to maintain that flexibility, strength. So you can still get the normal meat hook that way, the reverse meat hook that way. You're still getting loading in there, you're maintaining it while you're traveling. It's not perfect, but you're not stopping that altogether either. For the hang split, so the hang compression work, I wouldn't rate it too much. You're still just going to work on just your basic hangs, hang stroke, variations, and you can just do that just with a band or a tighter band. You can lie down. Here I've got an anchor point low, and this kind of goes into doing the pull-ups as well. So you might want to work that hand compression by tractioning out here, active, and then just work on that side split there, and then coming up. Not perfect, but it's keeping it conditioned and you're working on it. Pull-ups from this position are going to be quite, decent amount of loading there. You can go for the one arm pull, so you can make it a bit heavier with the band. Horizontal pulling is quite nice in the rings because you can get a good amount of load in there. So if I'm here, just walk more towards the corner. And then your one arm type deal as well, will work quite well. So horizontal pulling is okay. High pulling is suboptimal. You're better off just with the band, doing a high pull, just having that free like that. So it should pretty much get most of the movements done, a version of them. Obviously not as heavy, but if you're traveling and you're just trying to maintain some good strength throughout while you're on the road, it will maintain that. You're not going to waste away. But obviously the ground movements, you can go just as hard as you would normal. So all your push-ups, dips, my main recommendation is just between two chairs, or if you've only got one, just off the edge of a chair, you're going to get a better result with that than trying to do it in the rings next to the wall or something like that. So keep moving, no excuses, just find a way, be creative, send in your videos of your different versions. Hopefully I see some new ones so I can keep learning as well. And then most of the time you'll find something, in the hotel room or outside the hotel room, or I've trained on all different things that people wouldn't think to use for training, but just to keep those movements going. Enjoy.